of the visibility that you have at the moment, what are you basing that kind of assessment on?
Well, we know, of course, the first quarter our volumes were down 3.5%. We are halfway into the second quarter now, and we've had a volume development consistent with this 20 to 25% drop in volumes. It's presumably the worst quarter this year, given that it's after China was closed down for several weeks after Chinese New Year, and now, of course, we have a demand slump in the West. So that's what's driving the poor outlook for volumes.
What kind of recovery trajectory are you expecting, Søren?
Look, I think that question is probably not a business leader in the world that would like to know the exact answer to that. But we are, I think, like many others, expecting some kind of U-shaped recovery. Right now, we believe we are at the bottom, and then we will probably be, here for a while. But then, in the third quarter, the fourth quarter, we should start to see some recovery. I think it's also important for me to say that we have had, first quarter where we also saw decline in volumes, but actually our earnings were up 23% year on year. So we're managing the situation by taking cost out and adjusting our network and focusing on cash flow.
So you focus on the self-help measures. What does the pattern of global trade look like as affected by the pandemic? Søren, you've talked to us about the level of volume reduction that you expect to see, but do you see goods moving to different places? Have we learned anything from the data from China, for example, and the fact that they're ahead of everybody else?
Our long-term expectation is that we will get back to seeing global trade grow more or less in line with global GDP. Obviously, there are lots of discussions going on now as to how to design supply chains, not only for cost, but also for redundancy and resilience. And I'm sure that you'll see many of our customers moving away from single source sourcing and the like. And for certain product categories, it might also be that such as personal protection equipment, that actually you will see more regional supply chains. But we doubt that there will be a wholesale shift to local supply chains, because the problems we've had in the supply chain during the pandemic has really not been related to distance.
What kind of bankruptcies have you seen, or what kind of bankruptcies do you expect? Right now, that's, I think, one of the big worries of financial markets, that you start to get a cascade, maybe smaller players that infect medium-sized players and then larger players.
So, if you mean on the carrier side, then certainly, we are not in a situation where every single carrier out there have a strong balance sheet. Rather the opposite. So who knows what will happen? I know as far as MAERSK is concerned, we have come into this situation with quite a strong balance sheet. We have raised more funding. We have more than $9 billion of liquidity right now, and on the back of a good first quarter, we actually feel that we are very well placed to weather this storm.
And talking about how various carriers are positioned differently going into this, Søren, do you see this as an opportunity to do some deals then, to do some M&A if others are more precariously positioned?
I don't think so for AP Moller MAERSK. I mean, we acquired Hamburg Süd at the end of 2017. We have almost 20% global market share. So we believe we have the size and the scale on the carrier side that we need to have to be competitive. Our focus as far as acquisitions will be entirely on the land side. So landside logistics and possibly also container ports, and we will be looking for those opportunities.
You know, I was thinking more of customers, Søren. How many customers do you see that aren't just delaying deliveries, but simply won't be there anymore? Is that a concern?
Oh, absolutely. I think that as all container carriers, including Maersk, are quite heavily exposed to retail customers, and we have started to see retail customers, some prominent names in the US filing for Chapter 11 and in some cases bankruptcy. So that is of course a concern. I have to say though that on an individual level, there's not one single customer that is very large for us. So therefore, the exposure to the individual account is not that much for us. But of course, if you have whole, if you will, industries falling over, then it will be something that we can feel as well.
You mentioned some of the self-help measures you can take around the balance sheet, Søren. What about the other tough decisions that need to be made around headcount? Is that something you're considering acting on?
Well, we have so far, focused on if you will, the little bit easier things like hiring freeze, like furloughing people, and the like, and if we believe that we can get through this, at least for now, with those types of measures, as long as we continue to believe in a U-shaped recovery, then we're going to need our people once we start to get